Welcome to A Simple Life with Cal. The boys are back here building a fort in the woods, but we today are going to go over 3 ways that I like to clear blackberry bramble. And the blackberry bramble we're going to work on today is this. Now, I'm actually not going to clear all this. What I am going to do is I'm going to prepare it to be cleared. And then I'm going to turn my goats loose on it, and they're going to do the clearing. And so, but we will have to get in here a little bit to start working on it and start preparing it for the goats. The goats are not going to just come in and go, hey, look, blackberry bramble, yummy, and then eat it all. They will come in and nibble it. So I'm going to make it so they want to come here. The way I make it so they want to come here is I cut some trails in. And there's a couple different ways to cut trails in. I'm going to show you the way that I did it until I had an excavator, and then obviously you can use an excavator. And then what I do when I'm cutting my trails in, where I cut to. Now, it's really obvious to cut a path, and then you put the goats in the area that you've got, and that's not what I've done. In the past, I've had really good success of actually going in, specifically going in and targeting trees that are very aggressive growers. So I'm not going to be targeting Doug fir, because obviously that's a timber that we will capitalize on in the future. But what I will target it is like that big leaf maple right there. That big leaf maple will come over. That's an elderberry, that'll stay. There's some hawthorn in here, that'll go over. There's these cherries, but these cherries, somebody's already come and nibbled all the way around them. I know who did that. That was the goats. They came in here and they used this for a shade spot. And I know that because of somebody left their markings right there where they've rubbed their horns all over that. So obviously Butterballs came in here and rubbed his horns, and they've been in here and they've used this quite a few times. But there's some areas in here where there's some trees that I can actually cut down. Here's a good example. We got some hawthorn right here. And we can cut that down and fall it on top of the blackberry bramble, and the goats will come in and just devastate it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come in, and I know I spend a lot of time cutting stuff down, but if I don't start managing the actual ground here, like managing what trees are growing, what trees are not growing, trying to manage the blackberry bramble, I'll have nothing. I will literally just have a weed patch. And so there's gonna have to be some trees that get taken down. There's gonna have to be some areas that get cleared so I have some silvo pasture, so that way my goats, sheep, cows, whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever you're growing or letting graze, they have somewhere to go, and they have good solid vegetation to eat. So this is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to kind of give you the 3 methods that I've used in the past for getting rid of blackberry bramble. And those 3 methods are, I'll explain what they are right now, and then I'll demonstrate them. We have hedge trimmer and machete. Those 2 things partnered up are really, really good. We have the trees on top of the vegetation. So you still have to cut into where the tree's at, but then you drop the tree on top of the vegetation, pushing it down, so that way your goats can then come in and eat it down. And then the 3rd method is the excavator. The excavator I'm gonna consider as cheating, because it's not a readily available resource for most folks. Okay, so the machinery that I'm gonna use today is this electric Echo hedge trimmer. To be honest, it's kind of a piece of junk, but it does a great job for me, and here's why it does a great job for me. I don't have to pole start it, I don't have to do anything like that. I literally just hit the buttons and I'm cutting, I put it down, I do something else, I pick it back up, I do it again. I love this chainsaw. I absolutely love this chainsaw. But there are times when I really would have rather had a really powerful, incredibly powerful small electric chainsaw that I can just pull the trigger on and I'm going. The problem I have found is there's been a rush to make everything electric, and they missed on the performance side. On the other hand, this, because I'm using it really just spottedly, just here and there, this works pretty good. I usually have an extra battery. And this is actually pretty efficient. The weed whacker version of this isn't so. You just blast through the batteries so fast. So the other thing I like is a very cheap, thin machete, okay? When I say cheap and thin, you go to the store and pick up the machetes and find the cheapest, lightest one. It's all about cheap and light, because you can always carry a file with you to make sure you sharpen the blade back up, but I've gotten brand new machetes that were big and heavy and bulky, and they were just a pain in the butt. And I went back to this old, I think I got this thing for 10 bucks, but it's been really good for me because it's light, it's thin, so when I go and like cut through a piece of pretty stocky, I mean, that's, you know, a little over half an inch, you know, blackberry, you know, it just kind of goes right through. So those are the tools we're going to use. Small chainsaw for taking down those little trees, hedge trimmer to get to the trees, machete to help you get to the trees, and an excavator when you just don't have time to do any of those things. And then you're set up for your goats, and you're going to see once I get this chainsaw going. I've already heard the goats over there. They're somewhere over there. I heard them head-butting things, and so we'll probably see them coming down this path as soon as I get that little chainsaw ripping. They know exactly what's going on. They are not fools. All right, I'm gonna stop talking and get to work. All right, so the pathway is cut in, okay? It's nothing fancy, it's way wider than it technically needs to be, you know, 4 to 5 feet wide. And it's obviously still got plenty of thorns and thistles and stuff on the ground, but now I can get to these trees. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the one section over this way, and the other section I'm gonna fall down the hill. And then this will give a nice pathway for the goats to start getting in here and working all this down, because they'll do it. It just takes time. You got to put inlets. You have to create surface area for them to want to enter, if that makes sense. The more paths into the bramble, the more angles they get at weakening the overall structure of the bramble and taking it down. Okay, so as you'll see from the drone footage, I went in and I cleared a lot of this out. I just crushed it down, and this isn't a huge area. I spent a half an hour with the cutting in that one area to cut that tree down, and then with the excavator I probably spent another 45 minutes going up and down this area, kind of pulling the blackberry out, piling it up. Now, why did I pile it up? I piled it up for 2 reasons. One reason is I'm putting weight on this stuff. It's gonna sit down. I'm also starting to set up piles. I'm gonna come through here in the winter. Once we get into burn season, I'm gonna pile a lot of this up and I'm gonna burn it. Now, why am I gonna burn it, you'll say? Well, it comes down to land management, and I've talked about this in the past. The issue with blackberry bramble is when it dries, it's like straw. It's really light and fluffy. So on a hillside like this, if we ever have a fire up here, an actual like wildfire, and we have crazy winds, which we'll probably have if we have a wildfire up here, that those light bits of blackberry bramble, they get lit and they float up in the air and they light other stuff on fire, 100, 200, 300 yards away, whatever. So that's why I'm very adamant about getting in and getting all this cleaned up. Not all of it, chunks of it, big chunks of it, where I can get to it, where it's reasonable to get to. The goats will do a lot, but the goats can only do so much. And once exposed to the sunlight, this stuff will actually break down quite quickly. But I can't get it exposed to sunlight if it's got 3 feet of, blackberry on top of it. There's lots of surface area here for the goats. Now they know it's here. They're gonna go up and down this whole entire lane right over here. You can see them. See, they're gonna go up and down this whole lane, all the way down to the end and then all the way back up. I bet you we come back in a week. Hey, cookie dough. I bet you we come back in a week and almost all this is gonna be cleared out. Now they know it's here. I've kind of put it on their menu, and they will be working it over. And that's one of the tricks that I use the goats for. They know when I work an area, there's gonna be lots and lots and lots of food there. So that's what I did. I just created lots and lots of food. I created interest. The other thing that I've noticed is whenever I do something like this, if I put a trail cam here, I'll have deer here tonight. Almost every time I come in with any machinery and I disturb an area like this, the deer come in, they want to see what's going on. And so there'll probably be deer here tonight. If the deer are coming, then they'll be interested. We'll get 4 or 5 deer probably coming through here. There is a little bear in the area. We'll see. He may want to come through. The cool thing is I can actually get to the elderberries now. And Herman would probably love that. I don't know if they're ripe. I don't know if you eat them. I don't know much about them at all. Let's go take a look at them. I have no idea. All I know is he talks about them a lot, and I've never been able to get to them because they've always got 8 to 10 feet of blackberry bramble around them. But here you go. All right. Yeah. I'm not sure what they're supposed to taste like, so all I know is Herman said that they're great medicine, and they're probably like poisonous if you eat them. I gotta fall over and go into a coma any second now. All right, well, we're gonna clean up. Grandma's in town, so the boys are excited to get down, hang out with Grandma. We're gonna wrap it up for the day. I want to thank you so much for joining us.